a phenomenal turnout. Our players feel, sense that, love that, appreciate that from our fan base. The environment early in the game was phenomenal as well. So appreciate everybody. Going to need that next week too. Thought our kids answered my question, just who we're going to be and what we're going to be about as individuals and as a program. I thought they did a great job of preparing, and they came out and played extremely hard early in the football game, played assignment sound, and took care of business. So with that, I'll open it up.
Start with Austin. Does the start show the maturity and how much you guys have grown just because you went around the hotel room all day against a team that you're predicted to be by 3 or 4 touchdowns?
Yeah, not just the start of the football game. I do think the preparation, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we've continued to evolve and grow and do the things that you're supposed to do. I do think the start of the football game showed that our kids are focused. Their competitive spirit's going to be the same every single week. That's competitive maturity and growth inside of our football program for sure.
Adam? A lot of teams are fading this time of the year. You guys seem to be progressing. What's that challenge like, and how are you guys doing that when a lot of teams aren't?
The challenge in life, the challenge in their academics, the challenge in anything that we do, the challenge for a football program is to finish. That's finish the season. It's finish the game. It's finish the rep in the weight room. It's in everything that we do. Our guys continue to compete at a really high level. They've grown that way. You guys know that I love competing with this group of guys. Continuing to grow and just in our understanding of what we're doing schematically, but they continue to have great practice habits. I do, man. Our best is still out in front of us. They understand that the competition, really isn't who you're playing on Saturday. I don't care what week it is. It's really an intrinsic battle against yourself and in some ways fighting human nature.
Jimmy in the front.
Josh, would you talk about Velus Jones being the weapon that he is as a receiver, kick returner, punt returner?
Yeah, dynamic as a returner. He's got a great understanding and feels all of the traffic, and that's I don't know how he developed it, if it's God-given, but guys have a sense and a feel for it, and there's a lot of noise that's happening right in front of him, and he's got a great feel for all the movement of bodies. That's a really special gift. His strength on his frame allows him to be physical and have the ability to run through some things, which great returners that I've been around or played with all have that, and then just his growth. He missed a lot of time in training camp. Played outside, had a really good spring. I think his natural position was inside, and as the season's gone on, just has found a home there and become really comfortable and has a great understanding, and him and Hendon are on the same page.
Wes, then David.
Josh, as you were sort of breaking down film from last week with Hendon from that Georgia game, what were some of those conversations about things that happened in that game, and how big was the response you had in this game today?
Yeah, it takes all 11, right? And Hendon did some really good things last week. There's a couple things that he'd want back that everyone's going to point out the pick, which is something that everybody sees, but that's the end result of some other things, just the pressure that was being applied in the early part of the second quarter and late first, and him getting hit, the pocket condensing, and he's done a great job throughout the course of the season taking care of the football now. Talk about not throwing it to the other color up until this point. He's done a really good job of that, and he's a great competitor. He's going to bounce back, and he's going to learn from everything and keep being aggressive too. And I think that's a real sign of maturity from him, and obviously tonight played really well.
Joshua, these are two contrasting styles when it comes to tempo. You guys play the way you play. It seemed like they took a lot of plays down under 5 seconds, and just kind of what was that like adjusting to something so opposite to what y'all did?
Yeah, I'm not sure that they've played that slow during the course of the season. We knew that they were heavy, shift trade motion and adjust things, and we're going to come out of the huddle. Style of the game was the style of the game. Our kids understood going into it that we're going to have to maximize our drives, our opportunities on the offense side of the ball. And we knew we had to play with great discipline and communicate on the defense side of the football. Thought they did a really good job of that tonight.
Ben and Patrick.
Josh, how big was it for this program to reach a bowl game in year one?
Yeah, important for sure. The opportunities that come behind it tonight. I don't think there's anybody inside of our program, this is going to sound odd, that was like focused on that part of it. You know, that's not what I talked about. I don't think that's what our focus was from our players. It was truly on, you know, South Alabama, but really on us and continuing to grow and compete. It's big for us because it just continues to build the momentum that we've had going here during the course of the season. It gives you opportunities to continue to compete into December and grow, in particular with your young players and some development that happens there, which is really important for us in year one.
Coach, you've had a lot of veterans, guys that have been around this program for a long time. Theo, Matt Butler, Bayless is a senior. A lot of those guys have played a big role for your team all season. Delonte, kind of list goes on and on. How appreciative of those guys are you that they've been able to kind of produce and also bring something off the field as well?
Yeah, I think for all the guys that you mentioned, a lot of guys that are on our leadership council, just for me coming in, them not knowing me and and me not knowing them, they've been instrumental in just, you know, communicating and once we set the standard of what our program was going to look like, and they played a part in that, just knowing what they had been through and where we wanted to go and you know, what's true to who I am inside of our program, man, they've been exceptional leaders, each of them in their position room, but then by unit and by football team too, and they care deeply about the Power T, they care about their teammates. It's a really special group.
Jimmy, then Rob.
Josh, would you address two things on defense? One, your third down defense, they were 1 of 16. And secondly, you didn't have a lot of tackles for loss in the previous 2 games, but you racked up a lot tonight.
Yeah, you know, third down defense, thought our guys did a really good job of matching some things out in some of our man coverages. You know, communicated and handled some of their pick routes, and then we got pressure on the quarterback. That was a big part of the football game for us. What was your second question?
The tackles for loss, looked like you were changing the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I thought we played on edges and some of our pressures were able to get home, but then just, you know, with our front four, I thought we changed the line of scrimmage tonight.
Coach, just how pleased were you with the offensive efficiency? I think you scored touchdowns the first 7 times you had it, didn't punch in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, super efficient. You know, structurally, they were probably a little bit different than a majority of what you saw on film going into the game. I thought our kids adjusted really well during the beginning of the football game. Run game was efficient, then able to pop a couple of big ones. The throw and catch was really good early in the football game too.
Wes, then Adam.
Gosh, what do you feel like you've gotten out of Jalen Wright the past few weeks, and how important has that been with Tyon's situation?
Yeah, Tyon not being available here the last couple of weeks, Jalen's growth has been important, and getting him back healthy, and then him continuing to grow as a football player. You know, without looking at the tape here, I would say tonight was probably his best football game in some ways. So he's going to continue to grow as he grows into the player that he's capable of. But like it, Laneith got a chance to come back and get some time too, and thought he did some good things.
On offense, is there a race to get even faster tempo-wise? Is there a top speed this offense can run?
There's not a top speed. In some ways, we just look at it like we do the challenge against us every single week, and to become as good as we can. We just want to operate efficiently, and so, you know, from ball mechanics to communication to, you know, getting set and seeing what's going on the other side.
Vince, then Ryan.
Josh, Caden Cooper left the game. Anything significant for either one of them? Just held him out?
Coop definitely could have came back in. You know, we'll see, you know, how he feels when he wakes up tomorrow too. Sometimes you walk out of a ball game and feel differently, but you know, would anticipate he's back. Cade, we'll see early in the week where he's at.
Josh, was there something on film you saw with the tight ends? They obviously caught a lot of balls tonight, and Princeton's touchdown in particular. Just what do you see on that play?
Yeah, Princeton did a good job just on understanding the coverage off the scheme that we were running on the outside off a perimeter screen, and ran to grass. Hendon did a really good job of allowing him to work. Had really good protection on that play too. Those guys, you know, continue to be a huge part of what we're doing. Thought they did a really good job in the run game too. Everybody sees the pass, the catches that they were able to come down with, which is a big part of, you know, just them being used and having a high rate of efficiency in the pass game is important for us.
Eric?
Yeah, I noticed you went with Solon Page to get the start at linebacker. I was wondering what went into that decision and just the overall play of linebackers. It looked like they were really good on the draws tonight from the quarterback.
Yeah, nothing in particular with Solon. Just I feel like that group of individuals continues to get better, better understanding. Coach BJ does a tremendous job with them. Their football understanding, their football IQ continues to grow, and understanding of what we're doing.
Jake in the back.
Josh, you said that your players answered your questions of who they are and what they're about. What can you attribute that to, and what are they about?
Yeah, that wasn't so much a true question for me in the beginning of the week as it was believing in who they are and making sure that they understood what the challenge of the week was. They're great competitors that care deeply about the Power T and teammates around them. They're passionate about getting better and have proven that throughout the season.
Coach, you talked about, at the start of the season about Tyon and Jabari Small being that 1-2 punch. With Tyon out, have you seen Jabari really step up even more, and what have you seen from him progression-wise this season?
Yeah, I think Jabari is just continuing to get better at the running back position, understanding what we're doing, pressing the line of scrimmage, finishing runs, getting +2. A couple of the runs tonight, into the end zone for him were competitive plays where the pile's moving late. Some guys go and continue to push the pile, but he's pushing from within. Continues to get better in pass protection too. He's a young player that's should only continue to get better, and obviously we like him a lot as a player where he's at right now today.
Anything else for Coach? We'll finish with Wes.
I also know that, a lot of people talk about the offense with y'all and the way that you play fast, but all those tackles for loss on defense, is that something that aggressive brand is something that you feel like kids on the recruiting trail would like to hear about?
Yeah, because of my background as a player and early part of my coaching career, I think the offense probably gets viewed that way. We're going to be the most aggressive team on the football field in all 3 phases of the game. I just believe that's the way the game's got to be played. I think kids want to be a part of that. It's going to help you in recruiting, and that's certainly true of how we play defensively. Coach Banks and his staff do a tremendous job of developing that. Our tackles for loss throughout the course of the season has been a huge part of our success. And special teams, we're going to do that as well, and you guys have seen the way that we've played on that side of the football as well.
Thank you, Coach. We'll have players shortly. We'll have Bayless, Hendon, Roman, and Matthew Butler.
Guys, have a great night.
Thanks.